Hi everyone, this is The Last Word and I'm Maria Shakil. The fallout of Justice Hema Committee report is still being felt. After the mass resignation of the Executive Committee of the Association of Malayalam Movie Artists or AMMA, including its president superstar Mohanlal stepping down, today the Film Employees Federation of Kerala, which is a trade union of technicians in the film industry, have urged that the names of alleged perpetrators named in the Justice Hema Committee report should be revealed. The Federation is also assured that it will be providing all kind and necessary legal support to the survivors. Today, the Special Investigation Team met women actors who raised allegations against 4 actors. In terms of investigation, remember 3 days ago, Association's General Secretary Siddique had quit his post after mounting pressure as he was booked under multiple sections which included criminal intimidation and also rape of the Indian Penal Code. So what's now in this case and what will be the legal challenges on what will be clearly tough road to justice for these actors who have named and shamed their perpetrators?
At least 18 women have come forward to complain to the newly constituted Special Investigation Team about harassment they have faced in the Malayalam film industry.
Today, actor Revati Sampath recorded her statement against Mollywood heavyweight Siddiqui, and she recorded her statement for about 3 hours where she alleged that she was in fact molested in Thiruvananthapuram in January 2016 after being promised a film opportunity.
The MeToo wave in Mollywood has also had a political fallout. The CPI, a junior partner of the ruling Left Front, has demanded an FIR against Kollam CPM MLA, actor-politician Mukesh, who has been named by actress Minu Munir. Mukesh has however said the actress and her husband had blackmailed him. Kollam CPM MLA Mukesh has already been removed from a 10-member government committee constituted earlier this month to revise Kerala's film policy. With actors Sarayu and Ananya saying they have not resigned as executive members of the Association of Malayalam Movie Artists, announcing en masse resignation was not unanimous. With Ishika Verma in Thiruvananthapuram, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.
On the show, Meera Sood, Senior Advocate of the Supreme Court. We have Kunika Sadanand, actor, producer and advocate. Yashwardhan Azad, former IPS officer, and Himani Shivpuri is an actress as well. Meera, I'm going to begin with you, because of course we are trying to understand the legal challenges going ahead. There are a number of women who have deposed, and after, during the committee when it was going through and trying to come out with the details, and now we are seeing the Special Investigation Team also continue with investigations in which women are coming out and sharing their side of the story. What do you think will be the legal challenges to ensure that they get justice?
See, first of all, as I understand, the reason being given for the committee report not being made public is that to avoid a media outcry.
Yes.
The names of the perpetrators and all, but except that the ostensible reason being given is to protect the identities of the accusers. So I think first of all. And we see this whenever there is a crime against women. I think that in the name of protecting the identity of the accusers, of the victims, of the survivors, we should not silence them. They should be given an opportunity to speak should they wish, and they should have the option of keeping their identity private should they wish. In all of this, you cannot name the survivor, you cannot name the victim. I think the agency of the accuser is getting lost. And that is something that needs to be respected. If women want to name them, whether through the report or otherwise, I think that should be respected. And if women wish to name themselves, that should be respected.
Yes. So, Yashwardhan Azad, I was speaking to one of the survivors and she said that of course, when she deposed before the panel, she was told that her identity will not be revealed, but it has come out in the public domain and now she has decided to speak. But I was looking at MJ Akbar versus Priya Ramani case, which is seen as clearly a landmark judgment and a very, very empowering judgment. In this judgment, it was of course with regards to a defamation suit which was filed by Mr. M.J. Akbar. The court had clearly said that the right of reputation cannot be protected at the cost of the right of life and dignity of a woman. Interestingly, in this particular case, so far, we haven't seen any defamation claim, in the sense that any of those who have been accused, who have perhaps resigned, have not said that the allegations are defamatory in nature.
I know there are a lot of unique features about this case. I have seen that. One of them you pointed out, and basically what it proves really is that something which was rampant and which was absolutely wrong, which was going on, and it was going on for a long time, because one of the cases you're talking about is of 2015. The reason why the committee report was not made public is that, there are a lot of statements, there are a lot of these statements, and now that the cases will be registered, the veracity, the investigation would reveal who was actually accused and who was actually not. But once the entire process is set in motion, there is no harm in releasing the report. The other thing which I strongly support MS Sood when she said that in the name of protecting the identity of the accused, there are so many things we are hiding actually. In fact, today is the time, because these actors should actually come out openly. And a lot of them are making these statements because, today that stigma is gone. I mean, people at the wider cross-section of the society is supporting them strongly. And there is no loss of respect or dignity or anything. And that's why it's very, very important right now with that committee, which the investigative team which is there, with the women over there, there should be a very strong case made out. And I'm sure this will result in conviction. One more important thing, Maria, is that, one of the reasons why the women don't come out, because they don't know how is the climate of the general environment in which we go, how will it be taken. But today the environment has changed, and therefore immediately if action would have been taken in any of these years, I tell you, it would have made a tremendous impact.
And the question is also, Yashwardhan Azad, the nature of evidence which can be gathered. The challenge is on that front, and also right now it's about one person's version or one person's words against another. Kunika, since you're joining me, I'm going to take you back to the first wave of Me Too, when a number of women actors and professionals across fields had come out and spoken against their perpetrators. But what we saw happen post that, and in the last few years, they have all returned to the same position of power and authority.
And those women have not been able to return.
Yes.
The women have not been able to return. So I want to just, I'm going to contradict IPS officer Sahab, because the environment has not changed, sir. When we see that we are ignoring Manipur rapes, when we see that a person who is an accused perpetrator of wrestlers and his son is given a ticket to fight, and when we see that Calcutta rape happens and there's so much of botch-ups happening, when we see Badlapur happen, then again after that in 2 days' time we see there's no action taken which is swift and which is final. How many you just tell me, the Nirbhaya fund which was established, how many centers have they opened? The centers which are supposed to be, if you check in all the districts of India, they don't have centers where women can go. Also, when women come out, how are they ostracized? Do they get work in the industry? No, they don't, because it is a male club. It is a strong male club, and then everybody talks to everybody and says, "Isko kaam mat dena." Yes. Unfortunately, because there's no degree for an acting, or there are a lot of people then there's a lot of supply and demand, so they can be replaced. So the whole attitude of the nation has to change, and that comes from the top, where the politicians start respecting women's rights, start, there, how many accused rapists are there in politics who are elected and
Absolutely
they
valid
become,
questions
become,
there being raised by Kanika. We also have Himani. Himani, coming to you, where do you think it will take the industry and the women in particular, this entire revelation?
I hope so, because I believe once before this report had come out, and these powerful, so-called powerful people had paid money to people to keep them quiet. I hope that especially the actresses get up and stand for their rights. I mean, it's really shameful that even after so many years of independence, that we have to still talk about exploitation of women. Women are still not equal to men, whether it is the pay force, it's the paycheck, a hero, whatever a hero gets, and what a heroine gets. Forget us character artists. But look, there's a vast disparity. When are we women going to be able to get equal amount of respect and respect for our talent, for our work, and remuneration also? This is really shameful, and I wish it used to happen in our industry also. And of course, it's still happening, not only in the film industry, everywhere. You see what happened in Calcutta, where a intern was raped and murdered.
Yes.
And I mean, it's happening everywhere. When are we going to educate our men not to exploit women?
Okay,
To
so
treat them as
let me
equals? It's
let me
really
go back
shameful.
to Mihra.
And if the report has come, I think action should be taken and not repressed.
Yes.
It is really shameful.
Can I just come in for 1 minute?
Okay, Meera, coming to you, let's talk about the challenges going ahead legally and also in terms of the role of the SIT and the police. Where do you think it's all going to be really difficult?
I think there are obviously, I think anytime there are allegations of sexual harassment, and of course very often these things do not come with any evidence, but then the fact of the matter remains that the punishment is also remarkably lenient in these kind of cases, and people don't suffer the kind of reputational damage that they claim to suffer. As we've been saying, the men bounce back with all these allegations against them, and the women are the ones who suffer. So yes, I mean, imagine there will be defamation challenges in the near future going forward, and we've seen. But we really need to, I think now, as a policy, if we want to encourage victims of sexual violence and sexual harassment to come forward, and we need to proactively create an environment where they feel safe to come forward. They are not feeling the stigma as much as now I think in a lot of cases, they are not feeling the fear of stigma as much as they are feeling fearing the weaponization of the law. So there need to be active policy measures in place, policy decisions have to be taken, that the law of defamation cannot be weaponized in this manner against people who complain of sexual harassment.
So far, as I pointed out, Meera, none of those who have been accused in this case by the women have claimed that they will be, that they'll be taking that route or legal help in calling it defamatory. But Yashvardhan Azad, it's very clear from the judgment which came in Priya Ramani versus Mr. M.J. Akbar. It has talked about, answered several questions which have been there on everybody's mind and which continues to be even in this second wave of Me Too that we are seeing. Why did not the victims speak up immediately after it happened? What is the proof? What about the man's reputation? All those questions have been answered. So do you think this case in many ways actually has set the precedent of how these cases of sexual violence will be dealt with at workspaces?
Well, see, there are a lot of precedents now. I mean, if you see in America, there were the cases which related to about 10 years back, 15 years back, one of the biggest, I think, Weinstein, who's still in jail because of this action. And I don't agree with my lady panelist when she says that the climate has not changed at all, and that unless the attitude of the men changes. So how long will we wait for the change of attitude of the politician? That will never change.
Yeah.
And by the way, the case of Calcutta is different from this.
Yes.
The case of Calcutta is by a rogue, criminal inside who has done this. Here we are talking about sexual abuse, sexual, flirtation, sexual, conduct. And this has been happening. What I'm saying is that if that particular point, the action taken is immediate, then it makes a difference. For example, if the person who's accused of, he's thrown off immediately from that post, then it makes a difference.
Yes.
In that particular
And that's
time,
why
the
I'm
action-
saying, what purpose does this resignation of the entire body and the en masse resignation which happened really help? I mean, does it really help the case, Kanika? That all these men,
of course,
powerful
if-
men, have
if-
taken moral responsibility and they have quit. But what about the
No, it
real
doesn't.
fight? They should be standing with these women and saying that we'll support you legally.
Absolutely. And I think Mammootty has made a statement to that effect, that we want it to be transparency, we want this proper probe to be done, and it will definitely affect the whole investigation, because if these people are sitting in those seats of power, they might try to if somebody is accused, or if somebody feels that they are accused, they might try to pressurize the committee or whatever. But yes, as Sir was just saying, that we cannot wait for the politicians to change. We have to wait. The public has to use this outcry and make sure
Yes.
that they make their voices heard. And so not
Yes.
elect people like this, or not watch movies of people who have been, because if say a so and so act director, he says I've resigned from the committee.
Yes.
But he makes a film and it becomes a super hit. That means the public is endorsing his behavior. So we must be conscious of the fact. Also, I wanted to add earlier, Maria, you asked a question about Bollywood. I really wish that our producer bodies come forward and say we also want to set up a committee like the Hema Committee. That is when I will see that the
real intent will be displayed. So thank you so much for joining us, Yashwardhan Azad, Mihir Rasood, Kanika, and also Himani. Earlier today, I spoke to actor politician Khushbu Sundar. Listen in to what she told me. You have put out a rather encouraging post, I would say, in which you have backed all women who have got this courage to come out and speak against their tormentors. What you are seeing play out in Malayalam film industry, would you say that this is almost like an open secret, and that you're glad that those who are, perhaps the actors, producers and all are now coming out and showing that dirty picture or dark side of the film industry?
The dirty picture, the dark side continues in every field, Maria. I definitely wouldn't want the onus to be on the film industry alone, because I belong to this industry. I grew up in this industry. It's definitely very, very heartbreaking, disheartening to see this kind of attitude in cinema field where I probably was the most comfortable in. Yes, women have to stand up for themselves. Yes, women have to come out and speak. And yes, those who are responsible for this should be punished. The culprits should be punished. Nobody should go scot-free. When a woman is abused in any which ways, no culprit should go scot-free. They should be punished in the most befitting reply, as a reply to the girls or to the women who have been through this ordeal.
And, you say, why did you do it? What made you do it? These are always questions that are asked to survivors, the fear of being shamed, victim blaming. These are the questions that is asked. Would you say that, actors such as you, who have seen through several of, women actors who came after you, should be supporting them more and more with the posts, the kind that you have written today?
Yes, I think women should come out, and not only women. That's why I wrote that even men should come out and support, because we women work in an atmosphere hoping and thinking that probably men around us would be there to support us, to protect us. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen at times. And this is what this Hema Commission report says, that it doesn't happen that way. Men women, they all have to come together. When you're talking about a problem in the family, all the other family members need to stand up and support each other, rather than saying that this is not my problem, this is not where I have been through, or I don't want to be part of this dirty, murkier area. I think we all need to stand together and support the women and make this film industry we talk about as the most entertaining industry in the world. I think we need to stand up and say that if there's dirt in my house, I need to clear it. I need to clean it. I need to make sure that it's sparkling clean.
Okay, tell us, about your own journey in the film industry. Were there some instances?
Very stray incident, very, very stray incident. And this is when I had just entered South Indian cinema. And there was a producer who approached me because I was here alone. I didn't have a godfather. I didn't know the language. I didn't know where the next meal is going to come from. So probably this producer must have thought that I will give in or I will succumb to the pressures or the problems at home. So he gave me a kind of a hint when he walked into my makeup room and I was shooting for a Telugu film. And I removed my slippers and I told him, I said, I wear 41. You'll take a whack right here or you want me to hit you in front of the unit. And that put him in his place. So I think it's extreme. That is why I say that women have to stand up for themselves at the very moment. Earlier, probably 25 years ago, 30 years ago, cinema was considered not to be a place for women from good families. Today, you have girls who are highly educated from very, very affluent families coming into cinema. So they don't have to buckle under the pressure of making it big in any which ways. I think gone are those days. So I think women now who are far more privileged. See, the women who have been subjected to this kind of torture and assault, we need to understand that the first thing that hits them when somebody tries to act fresh with them or makes these kind of proposition for sexual favors in return of work, the first thing that hits her is, why me? The shock remains with her. So it's why me? And then the second thing that gets into the mind is, I am going to be victim shamed. People will ask me, what did I do for this man to come and approach me? So, that fear remains, whether I will be accepted within the society, whether it's going to affect my work. Will this man work into kind of a nexus and tell others that don't cast me? But I would like to tell all these women around that no producer is a fool to invest crores of rupees just because you're going to do some, give in to the pressures or for sexual favors in return of work. It doesn't work that way. Nobody is a fool. You will be taken for granted. You will be utilized. You will be used. You will be abused. So I think women have to stand up for themselves then and there and say, never, ever I'm going to compromise on my dignity and my respectability.
Since you have mentioned about that incident that you faced yourself, where there was an indication or perhaps an indecent proposal, what happened after that, after you put your foot down? Was there
Nothing
a backlash?
Happened. Nothing happened. I did the best of films. I came into Tamil. I continued doing Telugu films. I continued doing Kannada films, Malayalam films, and people built a temple for me. So I continued. So nothing happened to my career. Nothing happened to me.
But if you look at the story that we are seeing here, there are several women who appeared, who deposed before this panel, female professionals who have worked in this industry, the Malayalam cinema, speaking up against sexual harassment, because something which was almost like unsaid, but it was happening. But we have seen some resignations or the entire committee being disbanded. Is that really a solution? I mean, people who are high and mighty like Mohanlal and others, shouldn't they be fixing the system rather than disbanding a unit which is supposed to be taking care of the interests of the artists?
No, I'm glad that Mohanlal and the entire AMMA team has actually resigned, taking up as a moral responsibility for not being able to protect women at the right time. I think it takes a lot of courage, because here we see many people trying to stick into their places and say that, no, I'm not at fault, so I'm going to continue the position and the chair I occupy because this is important to me. I'm glad that somebody like Mr. Mohanlal had the courage and his entire team to quit from the position because they realized that on moral grounds, they have failed somewhere to protect the women from their industry, from the Malayalam film industry, and they take up the onus on themselves and say that we are going to clean it up. So I think that's extremely important, and everywhere it should happen, not only film industry. How many IT members complain, how many people from the medical field or any other field for that matter come and complain about this kind of a sexual harassment from the hospitality department?
Absolutely.
So I think it's extremely important for women to stand up, and especially for men to take it up and say that, yes, I have failed somewhere and I am going to make sure that I do not repeat these mistakes and I stand up for the woman who has been wronged.
And it was in this particular case, of course, it was the government which had set up this commission headed by Justice Hema, who interrogated and submitted this report. It obviously has taken 5 years for this report to come in the public domain. Do you think similar commissions of inquiry should be set up in other cinemas as well? Even Hollywood. I'm talking about Bollywood. Why not Bollywood, Tollywood, or all cinemas that exist, the regional cinemas as well?
Maria, I'm not going to break it into these brackets of Mollywood, Tollywood, Collywood, or anything else.
Yes.
I think Indian cinema, for that matter, and every department where women work. Today we are talking about gender equality. Today we are talking about women actually breaking the glass ceilings and flying high. So everywhere you see these kind of sexual harassments women are facing. So I think every department, every industry has to come together and say, we are going to set up a commission where women can feel free. In fact, for South Indian Nadigar Sangam, like for Tamil, I'm one of the executive members, and I have spoken to my president and said that we need to form a team. We need to have a committee where women can come and speak to us if they are subjected to any of these kind of sexual assaults or asked to ask for any kind of sexual favors. Women should come up. They should feel free to come and speak to us, because until and unless women do not speak out, we will not be able to find a solution and come to a resolution as to what needs to be done.